In central Budapest, at the BOLTJA bookstore, Wonderland is for Everyone is 6th on the bestseller list. It's an anthology of fairy tales adapted so as to include minorities. It was the LGBTQ element that attracted the most attention, though. The Prime Minister slammed it as homosexual propaganda, and the government required it be sold with a parental warning sticker on. From September, a new law will restrict the sale of this and all books with LGBTQ content.
We will be able to sell it only if it's wrapped and separated from other products. But how? And even that's only if we're at least 200 meters from a church and educational institutions.
Boldizsár Nagy says he can't continue to work in Hungary in this climate and has decided to emigrate. Nevertheless, he says Hungarians aren't as homophobic as their government apparently thinks.
Available research and polls say that the population of Hungary is not that intolerant towards LGBTQ people. But the government campaign radicalizes both sides, and those who were already homophobic or transphobic feel emboldened.
Outside the bookstore, this academic couple were certainly not afraid to express their views.
Én is hallottam a könyvről, de azt gondolnám, hogy ez nem jó.
Nem gondoljuk jó dolognak egyáltalán, hogy egyáltalán gyerekek ezzel foglalkozzanak.
The restrictions on books come in the wake of another law introduced in July that bans LGBTQ content in sex education and on children's TV. Facing legal action from the EU for discrimination, Hungary has announced a referendum on what the government and its supporters call child protection measures.
The law itself is about, I think, whether it is good from a moral or ethical point of view to promote gender ideology, gender theory, this whole rainbow propaganda.
Santo talks of theories and propaganda, but recent government moves have had a direct impact on the lives of same-sex couples who want to adopt children, for example. MARTON Pal and his husband adopted a boy 4 years ago, technically with MARTON as a single parent, but they haven't been able to adopt him a brother or sister. Since last year, all adoptions must be personally approved by the Family Affairs Minister.
She's not pretty much favor for rainbow families and for same-sex parenting. So I believe we have much less possibilities than before.
Marton and Adam have 53,000 followers on Instagram, where they try to just show their normal life as a rainbow family.
There he is. That was the adoption day we were celebrating. How can be this an ideology? Like, it's about feelings, it's about how we feel and how we love and who we love, and we obviously want the best for our kids.
In early August at this student festival, the government spokeswoman ALEXANDRA hinted she'd like to restrict the influence of Instagrammers like Marton and Adam too.
Szükséges, amiről nagyon sokat beszélünk mostanában, de azért még gyakorlatban nem tartunk igazán ott, hogy ennek érvényt tudjunk szerezni, hogy szabályozzuk a közösségi médiát az annak megfelelő formában.
The festival was organised by a conservative college that's just received €1.5 billion in cash and assets from the government. The star speaker, right-wing American firebrand Tucker Carlson, who read out a seething indictment of Viktor Orbán's Hungary.
More than 90% of the media is controlled by the ruling party. Elections are manipulated.
Except that he was being sarcastic, of course, mocking Orbán's critics.
I read this and I find it hilarious.
ILDIKO, a teacher, was excited.
És szerintem van egyfajta ilyen ébredés, ami nem a liberális woke fajta ébredés van csak, hanem a konzervatívak között is.
Most of the young people here at the very least approve of restricting children's access to LGBT content and would vote for it in the referendum.
Well, for any sane person, it's pretty obvious how to vote in this referendum. In fact, as soon as you read the questions, the answer is crystal clear.
But even among this conservative crowd, there were dissenting voices.
Before every election, they pick a community against which we can direct our hatred. It was like that with the migration crisis. And now the government chose the LGBTQ community to start hating on, in order to benefit electorally.
Friday nights at Budapest Park might give the country's leaders pause as to how well that strategy will actually work. The huge venue's weekly parties attract people of all ages and sexual orientations.
We didn't want this to be a gay party, we wanted this to be an LGBTQ theme series to make everyone feel good here.
George Ferenc says support for LGBTQ rights has surged since the homophobic laws were passed.
Many people were okay with the situation up until now, but now the government's crossing a red line, which makes people feel they have to stand up and show whose side they're on.
Activists are, however, calling for a boycott of the referendum, whose questions, they argue, are absurdly loaded.